Is Rick and Morty's Evil Morty the original Morty? We're breaking down a fan theory about Evil Morty, so if you haven't seen this week's episode of Rick and Morty and don't want spoilers, get out of here and take this spoiler warning with you, Jerry.
What?
This week's Rick and Morty episode, the Ricklantis mix-up, faked us out with a false start of the grandpa-son spacefaring duo taking a trip to Atlantis. Instead of following them on a self-contained underwater adventure, we got to see the inner workings of a reconstructed citadel of Ricks with a dark and brutal ending and a huge reveal that Evil Morty is now in charge and set up to be a major multi-episode villain. If you scan your memory chips, you will find that Evil Morty first appeared in Season 1, Episode 10, Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind, and in that episode we find out that the evil Rick, who's been killing Ricks all over the galaxy, is actually a robot controlled by Evil Morty. We don't know much about Evil Morty's origins, but a fan theory on Reddit proposes that Evil Morty might be our Rick's, that's C-137 Rick's, original Morty. So what are the seeds that have grown this into a mega fruit theory?
Hey, y'all get the hell away from my damn mega fruit!
Well, we got some photographic evidence that Evil Morty is alive and well at the end of this episode. In that final shot, we see all of the dead Citadel characters floating in space, and we also see the files that Deep Throat Rick handed over to campaign manager Morty, and some photos of Evil Morty wearing his distinctive eye patch. Also returning is the haunting song by Blonde Redhead that serves as Evil Morty's theme. So yeah, this pretty much all confirms that Evil Morty has risen to power and now rules the Citadel of Ricks. And we've gotten some other clues throughout the series that Rick's experience with Morty isn't just limited to the Morty that he currently rolls with. At the end of Season 1, Rick implies that since he is the
Rickest Rick,
his Morty would be
the Mortiest Morty.
But also warns Morty that a cocky Morty can lead to some big problems. It can be a real bad thing for everybody. Morty assumes that Rick means he is the Mortiest Morty, but Rick never actually gives him that validation. There's also a huge clue earlier in that very same episode when Evil Rick is extracting the content of C-137 Rick's brain. We see Rick tear up during some sentimental memories. One of those memories is of a baby Morty. Now we also see a younger Rick holding a baby Morty in a framed photo in the Season 2 episode Get Swifty. But from what we know, the entire series starts with Rick having returned to the family after a nearly 20-year absence. So if Rick was gone for close to 20 years and Morty is 14 years old, the maths don't add up.
Bad math.
Now the prevailing theory is that C-137 Rick was around to care for and raise C-137 Morty, which made that Morty confident and able to fulfill his own potential for evil genius. Then Rick and the actual C-137 Morty parted ways because of that Morty's penchant for evilness. Now this led to original Morty, now evil eye patch Morty, creating his evil Rick robot as a cover, forcing our Rick to find a new alternate reality where he could replace a dead Rick and step right back into another family with a nearly identical Morty. Judging by Rick's acceptance of that voucher for a free replacement Morty in Season 1, Episode 10, Close Rick Counters of the Rick Kind, the concept of swapping out Mortys from time to time is not foreign to him. Now we keep hearing from the various Ricks that caring about a Morty is a flaw and a weakness. Now this could be why our original Rick, having experienced firsthand what happens when a Morty is actually treated well, tries to keep a safe emotional distance from this new Morty so as not to create another evil one. But what do you think? Who's your favorite Morty? Was Evil Morty the original Mortiest Morty, or was he just a Morty? And how many times did we say Morty in this episode? Let's discuss. And if you like this Rick and Morty breakdown, be sure to like and subscribe for more. And while you're at it, check out Dan's latest episode of The Dan Cave, where he breaks down the Justice League villain. And no, we don't mean studio interference. We're talking about Steppenwolf. And no, we don't mean the band. To find out more, you can watch it right now over on YouTube and Alpha.